Hi, welcome back everyone. Today we have Bitcoin at 84,152. Not a lot of movement, kind of volatile still today, earlier in the day. I'll get to that. Um, Overall, like market this week in general. I didn't stream yesterday, but yeah, this week it's been kind of scrolling out over here, a little flat toward the top side, which I mentioned. Pretty sure I mentioned. We wouldn't drop lower than 82,855 for a moment, although I was expecting a drop nonetheless. I'm quite content that we were able to maintain that level as a support. It's converging right now with 200 EMA in the 1 hour chart at the 82,000 mark, right? 82,700, 800 approximately. We are technically supposed to be in an uptrend if we do stay above 84,400, but we're currently 84,100. Weird technicality, a bit difficult for trading low volatility period here. Only some only some volatility was given. And hey, when it is given, it's given pretty good. ADX has been less than 25 most of the time, so the strength of the trend is not that great. We're kind of consolidating at the top area over here. In this area where it's like, okay, are we going to break out from here? Are we going to go higher? Or are we going to drop a little lower? I'm expecting a drop a little lower. Maybe, I don't know, we'll stay within this range for a while, and then we'll start dropping, following what I have drawn over here. Why did I draw this? Because M2 money supply. It's real. Trust me. And it could play a huge part in what could be coming up next in terms of after this breakout happens. Where will we be heading? It's likely by 1st of May, the blast off date is when that's going to occur. I would expect a true breakout of this horrendous downtrend that we have since our all-time high level to be finally broken. We have like kind of like pushed it a little bit to this uptrend like it used to be over here, right? Then we had a couple of instances where we pushed out of it, so I readjusted it there. And currently we're at this moment where we're kind of trying to break out of that, but I've decided to kind of readjust it here because I still believe overall the trend should be down. I know super trend flipped green, but it's done that a couple of times in the past over here, and it's just immediately become red after a certain period of time, usually. What is this, 4 days? We're currently on day 2 or 3. Get this out of the way. It's going to come out soon. As you can see, by 4 days, it's looking like this might happen. In my opinion, I don't know. According to super trend macro analysis perspective, that kind of deal. But hey, if this does happen, it's probably the last call, last train, last bus stop. I don't know what you would call it. But yeah, that's what I would think for this. Got no positions open, got no money in here. Might start putting some money back in. I mean, I'm having issues with my API, so I gotta start up my bot again. Probably will. Currently working on another bot, so it's on the back for now. Yeah, currently just nothing much has been happening really. It's just been staying flat at the top, which is, it's not bad. 84,000 Bitcoin, that's fine. We don't want to see it under 80,000, but if it does, you better believe I will be buying that. And a lot. All right. I kind of hope it does. Altcoins are kind of decaying over time, though, we've seen. How's Ethereum doing right now? Currently on clinging for support at 1,583 currently, the price of Ethereum. No real trend here. About to have a death cross as well. See, Ethereum also just further portrays what I'm trying to look for here. Like a breakout toward the upside. We would need some serious fundamentals for that, but other than that, I'm just expecting to see a price decay. And I'm speaking in terms of like the rest of this month. What are we on? April 16 already. What is coming up next? Nothing too crazy that I could think of, honestly. Like, we're having Easter as well. Good Friday, all that stuff, so markets will be closed. There will be low volatility. A weekend as well, where they're going to have like little to no volatility. Just gonna decay over time is what I'm thinking. And maybe next week we get some bad news. It would have to come from like China or something. the bad news, because that has been kind of like the main driver of the stock market in general, right? We've seen Nasdaq go up and then come back down due to China stuff, tariffs. There was a bit of a relief. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it on my previous stream. Bit of a relief on some Chinese imports that had to do with tech. That's why things like Apple, Nvidia, AMD. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I talked about it. Intel. No, not Intel. But yeah, all of those went up. And now they're back down again, I'm pretty sure. I haven't checked in a moment. But yeah, Solana is at 131, up 4% today, unlike the rest of the coins. And that is due to the fact that today we actually had spot Solana ETFs approved in Canada. That's real, pretty sure. I might have to fact check myself. Where could I see this news from? Cointelegraph? Solana, Solana, Solana. I'm gonna look up Solana. Okay, well, it just disappeared. Solana presale hits new milestone. Trump U.S. crypto reserve. New Solana. Come on, stop that. Solana price is up 36% from its lows. Oh, it does not talk about Solana ETFs. That's fascinating, but believe me. Solana ETF Canada. It's real. Solana should spot Solana ETFs as crypto race ramps up. There you go. April 16, which we beat the US market in terms of that. We're the first country to approve Solana ETFs in Canada. So that's where we're seeing a bit of a pump compared to the rest that are either up 1% or not up a percent, down 1%. In the case of like Sui, Sui has dropped 1%, $2.05. Let's have a look at it right now. I do have to do some readjustment here, seems like. When is this downtrend coming from? Probably from all-time high levels. No, almost. It's still valid, I would say. Just small readjustment there. Super trend's indicating up, though, so that's pretty positive. Maybe Sue will have a reverse movement. It has been dipping in the past couple of days here, too, right? As long as we maintain above 2, 2 should be a good level, psychological level for support. I would have to draw it. Let me draw. 2. There we go. Yep, as long as we maintain that, should be good for Sui. Worst case scenario, it's 184, although this might change by end of this week. I do think we'll see a decay, but how much could it be? Sui is very volatile, though. 2% here compared to 10% there. Yeah, I'm going with the 2% drop. It's likely going to be there. Maybe we even maintain the green super trend that we see over here as a solid support. XRP $2.08. This is an interesting support as well at exactly $2 for XRP. Literally, XRP and Sui have same price almost. $2.05 versus $2.08. And I've said this before, but I think that Sui has much more growth potential for this cycle, I would say. XRP, I would admit, has greater growth potential long term due to the fact that XRP is involved in government stuff now, right? So there will be actual good use cases for XRP. And also the fact that XRP has a limited supply. So it's not inflationary. Unlike Sui, it's going to be good for this cycle because, you know, it's the star of the competition against Solana, against Ethereum, right? Against Avalanche, against every other, all of those other blockchains, right? That provide that same solution, right? Sui is just much faster and much cheaper. So there's that. And it's been more volatile than what XRP has been. So I feel like Sui would have greater growth potential for this cycle. Could increase much faster. But after its run, if it does stick around, maybe it will stay good. But for the long term, like if I had to buy and hold for a couple of years, I'd pick XRP probably. Between those two, XRP and Sui. Obviously, there's much better options like Bitcoin. Litecoin, the digital silver, has just similar to Sui, I guess, in the red as well today, and just been decaying over time. Could not break the resistance at 80. That is unfortunate, but we are finding our support at 73, 74 approximately. The current price is $74.60. And Cardano is just doing its own thing as well. Also found a support, a floor at 60 cents is looking like. I think I might draw this. I think it looks important. 60 cents. There. Looking good. In order to get a decent breakout, we're looking at maybe 67 cents. Pretty sure I mentioned that as well before. What's this looking like here? I honestly don't know where to draw a downtrend from. Like if I really had to, it'd probably look something like this. If I go like any further back, it's going to look much steeper and out of place. So this short-term downtrend is probably what we're going to have to seek to break out of first. Then we'd meet our first resistance, which is luckily at this zone, 67 cents, we'll call it. Matter of fact, could I draw... I might just readjust this to 0.67. Yeah, exactly there. I feel like that would be our important resistance in this case if we're heading upwards. That's all we have for the coins that we check most of the time. Does this change my perspective on Bitcoin? I think this still remains the same. Might stay lateralized for a moment around this area. We can see a drop. I'm hoping we do. If we don't, I'm fine with it as well. I'm okay with the breakout. We're looking at a breakout at 88,000 is the most important first level that would have to break out of to continue. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to have to extend the downtrend, which I really hope I don't have to because it's been a couple times that I've done that by now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I am trying to think, what fundamentals do we really have coming up? Oh, we also did have this for Canada, Bank of Canada interest rate decision. Nothing changed, stayed the same. And oil, Fed Chair Powell speech, that happened today. It affects mainly US markets, but it still had an impact on the price of Bitcoin today. The Fed Chair Powell speech happened at, what did I just look at here? 1:30 p.m. So let's go look at what happened at 1 o'clock here. You got a big red candle, right? So we're looking fine. We were rising before then, 85,400, and we dipped all the way down to a low of 83,200. So this is what was said during that period of time. Jerome Powell says that the US economy, it's solid despite uncertainty. Okay. He also mentioned that the level of tariff increases announced so far is significantly larger than anticipated. That's kind of bad. The economic effects will include higher inflation and slower growth. I'm pretty sure that's what it means to say there. So this is causing a little bit of fear in the market right now because now we're expecting, okay, we thought that the Fed had priced in the worst case scenario of tariffs. At least that's what was mentioned last time when we got that first report of what we're expecting for the year, right? How much rate cuts and all that stuff. We got that earlier this year. And it was mentioned that, yeah, we're pricing in the worst of the worst. And by the end of it, it looks like even with a worst case scenario, we're still going to come out with at least 2 rate cuts. And everybody thought, hey, that's pretty good. And the chances of rate cuts have been increasing, right? We've seen up to 4, right? Currently, I think the chances is it 3 now? I haven't checked CME Fed Watch. Next meeting is coming in 20 days, by the way, in May. It's looking like we're going to keep rates steady. 83% chance nothing happens. 16% chance of a rate cut, 17 almost. It used to be almost 50-50 at one point. Last time I checked, it was 80-20, so now it's like 83-17. For the aggregated results, we're still looking like we're getting one in June, the second one in July, the third one in October, and we're still getting a fourth one, it looks like, by December. There was one point where this was flipped around, where it didn't look like we were getting one in December. So for now, it's looking like 4 rate cuts still, in a balance between 3 and 4 rate cuts. So that's pretty good. Now, he mentioned here, though, that the amount of tariffs that were announced so far, is, I guess he wasn't expecting Trump to go all out like he did on Liberation Day. He says that it's significantly larger than anticipated, and He also mentioned fear of higher inflation and slower growth. We would have to check the economic data to confirm this first. So it's not confirmed, but this is just something that he has in the back of his mind. Who knows? Maybe he's playing politics and just doesn't want to cut the rates to upset Trump. That could be the case as well. We don't know for sure. He also said that we could still be in a situation where, we do need to make a difficult decision. That could be obviously enabling the money printer, is what we like to call it. Because according to the data that we have gotten last week, US inflation is dropping hard, which should be a catalyst of cutting rates, right? Who knows? He seems like he's kind of playing it peaceful or just delaying the response. Hence why we still see 80% chance of next meeting, nothing happening. And then we still will be getting maybe 4 rate cuts for the rest of the year, which is pretty good, right? But these comments kind of spooked the market a little bit, hence why we also saw a crash of 2% today within that hour. Now, what else was I going to mention about this? Come on, I'm forgetting now. It's okay, whatever, I forgot. Let's talk about China and the United States. So that's still kind of going. China says they will only engage in trade talks with the US if its leaders show respect for Beijing. Odd request, but sure, maybe they're being disrespectful. I don't know. Caroline Leavitt put it this way. She says that, this is the White House press secretary, she says that the ball is in China's court. China needs to make a deal with us. We don't have to make a deal with them, right? So United States has always said, hey, by this time, we're open for a trade negotiation with the Chinese. But I don't know. They're being a little bit egotistical and saying like, no, we're going to fight to the end, la la la, and they're not following what Trump wants. So, in lieu of that, Trump has increased tariffs on China to now 245%. It's just doubling at this point every day. So, it's not stopping. And that kind of is detaining the market from, in this case, breaking out so we can start heading higher. We're just following what M2 Money Supply is showing us in the meantime. Which is, I mean, it was showing a drop initially. We kind of diverged from that. 80% accuracy, so that's fine. We could fail 20% of the time. But it's about time that we do start following it again. And I'm expecting that to be the next drop that we could see by the end of this month. It's what I'm going to just be warning. Sure, it could still go higher. Like I said, if it does break out, then so be it. But that would require some severe fundamentals, such as the trade war with China ending. Last time we had a trade war with China was 2018, and pretty sure that lasted a couple months, right? Maybe like 4 months. So, who knows, right? Maybe nothing changes from there. From what I heard as well is that like the previous trade war back in 2018 wasn't even like fully resolved. Like it just carried on for the rest of Trump's administration, and they're still applicable today, right? Even during Biden's administration, nothing much was changed about it. So the tariffs that were set were kept for that whole period of time until now US is putting more, China's putting more, etc., etc. Sometimes US is taking part of it away depending on certain sectors, but it's China's not budging, right? I don't know if they don't want to negotiate or it's their ego, what the case may be, but we'll see. There's a bit of impact that China is having on Bitcoin, apparently. China's local governments have sold 15,000 bitcoins, which is worth $1.25 billion, via offshore private entities. I'm assuming that means OTC. They're saying that this is false information now too? I don't even know. What does this say? Reuters reported that a Shenzhen company helped Chinese local government sell $400 million worth of cryptocurrency since 2018, and that China's local governments held an estimated 15,000 bitcoins worth 1.4 billion at the end of last year. Pretty sure they have 195,000 bitcoins. I don't know what this is referring to. Let's ask Grok. That's what we have. AI. Real-time fact-checking. That's good. It's claiming that China's local government sold 15,000 bitcoin, citing Reuters, but this is inaccurate. Reuters actually reported that... Okay, so it's not real. Okay. China's crypto trading ban forces local governments to use private firms to liquidate seized assets. It's a practice that has sparked debate about creating a national crypto reserve. Exactly, yeah, I agree. with experts like Winston Ma suggesting centralized management in Hong Kong to maximize value. That could be the case, right? Because we know that crypto will be a bit of a cold war going on in the world for who will own the most amount of Bitcoin. So far, United States is on the right path. We've got other countries like Pakistan going in on it, United Arab Emirates. There was this other country as well, somewhere in Africa, I'm pretty sure. And what is it? El Salvador as well. All bullish on Bitcoin. Maybe Argentina gets involved in it too. Not confirmed yet, but I mean, I'm pretty sure like we've also seen news of China and Russia trading goods, services with Bitcoin because their fiat currencies from both countries respectively are pretty bad, apparently. Who knows? Who knows what the Chinese government is planning to do with the Bitcoin? Yeah, we don't need a description about the images. So that's what we have so far with this. The good news about China, kind of, is that their money supply has been increasing. This has been kind of contributing to the M2 money supply new all-time highs that we are seeing in the current charts right now, given the 108-day offset. If Bitcoin does trail that, at least an 80% correlation to what M2 money supply is going to show. It's looking like by July, maybe even carries on to August, Bitcoin will still be hitting all-time high levels, right? So that's exciting to see. And of course, it just takes time for all this money, all this liquidity to flow into crypto assets. Could take a while. Maybe the 108-day offset is accurate in that sense. So we'll just have to wait and see. A Trump administration official says that the US may purchase Bitcoin using revenue generated from tariffs. That could be interesting as well. How much revenue have we generated from tariffs? A total of $21 billion since President Trump took office. That's more than enough to buy. What was their plan originally? Something like, what was it? 500,000? It can't be 500,000, is it? They wanted to acquire 2 million Bitcoin or 1 million Bitcoin in 5 years. Yeah, so it is 200,000 Bitcoins purchased every year. And you can do that with 2 billion to 20 billion. I don't want to do math right now. If Bitcoin costs, let's just say hypothetically, on average, $100,000, okay? I know we're 80 something right now, but it's going to fluctuate. It's going to go up. And by the time, United States decides to purchase, it's going to go up. They're going to be late. They should buy now. Anyways, $21 billion in tariff revenue. They want to acquire 200,000 Bitcoin. 200,000 every year for 5 years to have 1 million Bitcoin. You can't have a billion. There's only 21 million max. So that means they would need, what is this? 1,000 million, $20 billion. Yeah, that's literally it right here. $21 billion in tariff revenue so far. Who knows what's going to happen for the next 4 years if these tariffs continue. I don't think they will. I'm pretty sure we will get our negotiations by then. Like I said, this tariff war before has lasted only a couple months. So, I mean, a couple months from here on out, April, May, June, July, August, it's looking like by then things could get resolved and Bitcoin could be hitting new all-time highs. Which also correlates with the pattern of the M2 money supply. I want to find that post here. It's still rising, as you can see there. Magnitude of this M2 move is what gives us hope. Is there a description I want to see from this? Not that, not this. Also, same thing with gold. Gold is making new all-time highs and Bitcoin does trail the gold price, usually, at least the movement, not the price. So, yeah, like it can still rise up. There's a lot of things that are pointing toward a massive rise. This is from April 13th, so I'm pretty sure I may have covered that one in the past. But yeah, it is looking really good, right? M2 money supply continues on increasing even today. Offset that 108 days. Look where we are right now. Might stay sideways for a moment. Maybe not too much of a big dip as I mentioned actually, but still nonetheless, just one more dip it's looking like before May 1st. May 1st, we'll blast off, hopefully. So yeah, that's what we got. In terms of UK, this is pretty cool. If the Trump administration does this, it'll be pretty cool. They will demand Keir Starmer, Prime Minister of UK, to revoke hate speech laws in exchange for a trade deal. That would be pretty cool, right? Like, I'll get rid of tariffs if you get rid of your dumb free speech laws. Because, if you make a meme on in the UK about like illegal immigration or something, I don't know, they'll arrest you. They'll come to your house and arrest you, throw you in jail. Like, and if Trump fights for people's First Amendment rights like that in another country, that'll be pretty cool. With the power of tariffs, the influence of tariffs, seems like it's working. Trump is also considering banning Congress from trading stocks. This comes after a lot of controversy from a lot of people claiming there's a lot of insider trading going on at the White House. It's nothing new. We've seen Nancy Pelosi do it, but it got especially tight during the time when, I mean, even Trump is kind of guilty of this, although he's claimed that, oh, I don't look at the stock market. I haven't looked at the stock market. He says, hey, guys, now's a great time to buy stocks. Or just, now's a great time to buy is what he said. He didn't specify what. He just said, now is a great time to buy. If you paid attention and if you bought, 3 hours later, Trump made a post saying, I'm pausing tariffs on all countries except China. We're raising tariffs on China. So it's now just a trade war between US and China. And of course, markets liked that. And everything pumped up from there. So if you listened to Trump, you would have made money on that day. I don't know. That's a bit insider trading territory for me. Eric Trump, Trump's son, is going to be attending Token 2049 in Dubai. That's all I gotta know. Trump's dev team as well. This is from World Liberty Financial, pretty sure. They pulled out 4.6 million USDC from liquidity pool, and then they bridged to Ethereum and bought $4.6 million worth of Ethereum. Yeah, World Liberty Financial is still buying Ethereum, even at these low prices when people are thinking, hey, Ethereum is garbage. Who knows? We know that Trump's DeFi platform has a lot of Ethereum. And they've been accumulating since like all these levels, as have I, unfortunately. But yeah, maybe I'll buy this dip too. I don't even know. Next dip that's coming up, that'll be my last purchase on Ethereum. If it goes to the floor, let it go. But obviously I'm exaggerating. I know Ethereum will have a future still. It'll definitely, like, for this cycle, go back up to its $4,000 all-time high. But we shall see. $91 billion company Stripe. It's a payment system. They're looking to serve Bitcoin and crypto businesses. That'll be pretty cool if they offered a way to exchange Bitcoin as well between people. So more institutional adoption. Corporate Bitcoin adoption is also accelerating. A record 95,431 Bitcoin has been bought in the first quarter of 2025. So yeah, it's not slowing down. And yeah, this is what I was kind of mentioning, right? Everybody is starting to buy Bitcoin. It's just a matter of time that other countries will start buying into it, right? Making strategic reserves, copying what the US is doing. A lot of companies doing this as well. So yeah, overall good for adoption. It's like the early days of the internet. Nobody wanted to know about the internet, but now you're listening to me through it. So obviously it works. Bitcoin dominance also hitting highest level since February 2021. I have a chart on that. I want to check it out if that is indeed the case. Bitcoin dominance. I'm looking at a 5-minute chart, so let me scroll out. Indeed, yeah, it has hit a peak level of 64%. This means that there are less people holding altcoins, more people holding Bitcoin. And we haven't seen this level since, yeah, February 2025. It's very recent. But what did this say here? February 2021. Is that a typo? Where's 2021? That's right over here. Well, yeah, kind of, I guess. Similar points. You could kind of argue is similar points. Now, the whole point of Bitcoin dominance, I've explained it before, but I'll go through it again, is the fact that currently people are scared to hold on to their altcoins. Just look at what happened with Mantra, right? OM. It just crashed 90%. People are getting scared, similar to what happens with, with meme coin. What happened with the meme coin market? Everybody was rug pulling. Now, Are meme coins even popular anymore? Not really. Will they make a comeback? Yeah, probably, because people are degens, but that's fine. So what do you do when you still want to be exposed into the crypto market, but you don't want to hold altcoins? Of course, you would just hold Bitcoin because it is safer. Bitcoin has not dropped as hard as the rest of the altcoins. Also, just giving people more faith in Bitcoin than in every other altcoin. From its all-time high level, Bitcoin is only down 23%. Easily, we can get back up there, right? Compare this to other coins like Ethereum. Ignore Tether as a stable coin. XRP, it's down 40%. Binance is actually pretty solid, 26%. But the rest of other coins, Solana 0.5%, 50%, right? Tron 44%, Dogecoin 79%, Cardano 80%. From their all-time highs, most of these altcoins have dropped significantly, right? Where's Sui? 61%. Wow. Yeah. So people are scared. They're too scared to hold on to their altcoins. They would rather hold something that's safer, that hasn't dropped over 30%. In this case, it would be Bitcoin. So that's the sentiment in the market, right? That's what the Bitcoin dominance is there for. Cool. I also want to talk about Gary Gensler, also apparently going on CNBC and talking positively about Bitcoin. The guy who we thought was well, maybe he's not anti-Bitcoin, but he was very anti-XRP. That's what we saw XRP struggle for years, since, what was it, 2018? Until very recently, of course, all SEC cases closed against XRP. XRP came out winner. XRP made a new high level that it hasn't seen in a very long time. I'm pretty sure we did not hit our all-time high for XRP, did we? I wouldn't be able to check on this chart anyway. But yeah, you get the point. This happened as well in the morning of April 15, 5 a.m. Binance went down due to Amazon Web Services outage. It was Binance and KuCoin. It's not mentioned here, but yeah, Binance and KuCoin, for some reason, they're using Amazon Web Services for their server stuff. And I mean, if Amazon Web Services goes down, these exchanges are also going to go down, right? So it just sparks fear about decentralization. Why haven't they moved to a decentralized network by then, right? Like Solana or practically every other exchange or token have their own decentralized version, or maybe a different cloud provider, right? But Amazon Web Services apparently affected KuCoin and Binance negatively in that sense. They paused like their withdrawals or transactions, I think it was, to try to protect people's assets until it came back online. Just a little blip in the system. So just to let you know, that could happen. I talked about this mantra thing, OM coin. It crashed 90%, and of course, CoffeeZilla makes an interview with the CEO of that company. So I'll just touch on the basic points as to what happened. I didn't watch the full interview yet. I still have yet to watch that. There's just been so much going on, but I will. It crashed 90%, as we all know. It has risen like 30%, I think, since I last checked. Is it even still listed? Yeah, we are. It's down 9% here. I saw it plus 30% on my notifications. Maybe at some point over here. 170% from its... Hey, that's not too bad, is it? If you bought like at the very, very low point and sold at like not even the high point, right? Just literally that same day, 259% increase, going from 36 cents to $1.32. It's a good amount of volatility. But of course, there's a lot of lost trust in this project now because they deleted their Telegram channels. They deleted, random stuff. Their posts on Twitter don't give good explanations as to what exactly happened. They're saying it was due to reckless liquidations, which I'm not sure if many people believe. So, yeah. They're saying that $30 to $45 million was sold over the counter by the team. 10 million was re-injected back into the Mantra token in mid 2024. Pretty sure that's when they became their own blockchain, moved away from Ethereum. CEO says that isn't pumping the price. We disagree on what pumping the price is. The full interview is on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe more questions are left unanswered. Who knows, really? Because they did mention, like, oh, in the upcoming days, we'll give out a full explanation. I don't think we saw a full explanation for Mantra yet, did we? I had this here. 13 hours ago, they says, in response to the significant and unexpected downward price action experienced by the OM token earlier this week, our team has compiled this fact-based assessment. It addresses our community's questions and outlines... I'm not sure if I'm going to read all that. The investigation remains ongoing. We're committed to sharing verified information in a clear and timely manner. So, okay, yeah, literally nothing yet, apparently, as of 13 hours ago. We still have yet to see what even happened with this token. Why did it crash so hard? Apparently, ZK Sync also confirms that $5 million in ZK Sync, its token, was drained via compromised admin account. A lot of weird stuff going on with these random DeFi projects. Says the incident was isolated and user funds remain safe. Okay, well, that's pretty good. ZK Sync security team has identified a compromised admin account that took control of roughly $5 million worth of ZK tokens. Remaining unclaimed tokens from the ZK Sync airdrop. Necessary security measures are being taken. All user funds are safe, never been at risk. ZK Sync protocol and ZK token contract remain secure. No further ZK is at risk. This is an isolated incident caused by a compromised key and confined to the ZK token airdrop contract. Investigation is still ongoing. Detailed update will be shared later today. All right, cool. Seems like we're all just waiting for answers with what is going on with the altcoins. Some DeFi projects. Cool. Bit of Canada news before we end it here. Ontario's unemployment rate skyrockets to 7.5%. I'm part of that. Pray for the 28,000 Ontario families in this time of uncertainty. We do need a new Prime Minister. Our elections are coming up April 28, and we have a presidential debate. Why am I saying presidential? Prime Ministerial debate today. It just happened today with Mark Carney, Jagmeet Singh, Bloc Québécois guy, I forgot his name, and Pierre Poilievre. Which it's looking like, so far, I saw it in French, right? Pierre Poilievre seems to be the strongest candidate nonetheless. Reminder for, what the Liberal Party has done in the last 10 years from 2015 to 2025. Worst housing affordability ever, skyrocketing national debt, rampant inflation, homelessness, tent cities, I've seen it. Violent crime rates soaring, I've also seen it. Opioid deaths on the rise, don't know what an opioid is. Healthcare system breakdown, bank account freezes during protests, I've seen that. Ethics scandals, censorship of citizens, food bank use at record highs, that is a fact, excessive government spending, 25-year high interest rates, and reckless immigration policy. I agree with that. So, cool. Pierre Poilievre's got a lot of endorsements. Mark Carney only has endorsements from China. Just stuff like that. Clips of the debates are here, and there will be another one tomorrow, and that one will be in English, so I think that will be more viewed by the rest of the people. I did see parts of today's debate that was in French. It was dubbed a little bit in English, but I didn't have time to watch the full thing. It went on for like over 2 hours, I think. Or maybe I don't know. I was rewinding in the stream. So I'll pay better attention to tomorrow's debate when it's full English. I'm pretty sure the candidates would be at their strongest at that point as well. We don't really care about Bloc Québécois. They're not going to win. But yeah, cool. Apparently Green Party also got kicked out of the debate. They're not allowed to debate. Just saving everybody's time. So cool. Good. No one's going to vote for them anyway. About this post, Mark Carney's endorsements is China, is because of this. China has been importing record amounts of Canadian oil after cutting U.S. purchases by 90% amid the trade war. So, hey, looks like they found a new a trade partner. Congratulations. Happy to have China take our oil. Nice. So, yeah. Bitcoin on the rise slightly, 84,200, 300 almost. Yeah, overall what I'm expecting is still a drop. I've been calling for a drop for a long time. I get it. But we haven't risen either. We've just been staying, I would call this flat, really. Like, not too much movement going on here. Do I have a lot of lines? I really hope I don't. I hope it's not confusing to see. I could erase this. Yes. Big brain. That's why I divided it in half, and it's not because I ran out of space when I was drawing it the first time. But yeah, that concludes the stream. Yeah, cool. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. What are we doing tomorrow? Thursday. Oh, maybe I'll be here. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I have a doctor's appointment in the evening. Hey, if I can make it, I'll make it. And we'll share some news by then. So, yeah. That'll be all for today. Thanks, guys. Bye.